Hello, fellow YouTubers. I was compelled to do a software video review for the new Moqi, M-O-Q-I, by Snail. It's the Moqi i7s. It is so awesome. So the key things that I want to talk about on the software, you can kind of see videos of most of this stuff on YouTube. Maybe not so much of the software, but I'll tell you how the software works before I actually do a video of actually showing the software. So the first point that I want to make is comes with a key mapping software. So this is so awesome. You load up virtually any game that uses on-screen controls. So that's like Android games and the like. And it has a key mapper built into the menu of the Android. So you just slide down the upper menu of the Android, you click on the little icon for the key mapper, and it brings up in game. Any game you play has a little four dots, tiny four dots along the side of the screen that are colored. You then slide along those little dots and it opens up a menu where you can then assign the keys of the Moqi to whatever the controls on screen are. So for example, I'll open up the key mapper, I'll drag out a button to, let's say, the fire button that's on screen for the Android game. I drag a little button out onto the thing on screen, and then I just click whatever button on the Moqi that I want it to be, and it now assigns that function to that button. So amazing, so awesome. You can drag out icons for not only the buttons, shoulders, and all the clickable buttons, but also for the two sticks. So you can drag out one stick for the move and one stick for the look. And so for native Android games where you go to use the two sticks and they don't work appropriately, you can just drag out the sticks from the Moqi software, from this key mapper, and you now have the ability to use the left stick to move and the right stick to look. It is absolutely amazing, totally customizable. At that point, you can either tell it in the menu to show or not show the little icons that you slid out onto the screen. You can totally make those disappear if you want to just use it without seeing it on screen. And you can also get rid of, toggle the whole little menu, the little colored dots on the side, by simply toggling the menu up top in the sliding menu for Android, but it doesn't get rid of it. It gets rid of the little dots. You can't see it or access the menu anymore, but it still functions in game. You can still use the controls exactly how you map them to. So it allows you to basically make the whole thing invisible after you've set it up and you have your control set. I mean, it is just totally amazing. So that's the first piece of software I wanted to mention on the Moqi i7s. Very, very cool key mapping software. The next one I want to talk about is the DIY. I mentioned this briefly in another video when I talked about the Moqi. Basically, it has this DIY software, they call it, where you can assign virtually any button you find on a Bluetooth controller. That includes both the left and right, 1 and 2 triggers, and also the R3 and L3 clicking of the analog sticks. All of those buttons can be assigned on screen to any app or any game through the DIY software. It is so simple. You bring it up, open it up, find the software on your phone that you want to create a profile for. You then tap the controller icon and then just simply drag the buttons that you want to represent on screen into the little interface area. And then you simply close it, go open your app, and you now have the buttons right there on screen. R3, L3, R2, L2, it's all right there. And you can assign anything. I mean, it's not only just for controller, but you could assign keyboard buttons if you wanted to. I mean, you can assign virtually anything into any app. So that is DIY, do it yourself. Awesome software that comes with the Moqi to make it so that you can basically turn its limitations of having only one L and R shoulder buttons, no more limitation. You put it on screen with the icons that you can easily drag around the screen anywhere you want, and you can actually drag them off screen into a recycle bin area. If you hold it down long enough, the recycle bin opens up and says drag here to delete. You can drag it off screen, delete it, it's gone. Another cool feature that I noticed with the DIY was that I had set up games for it and then deleted the games because I thought I wouldn't play them. And I thought, okay, well, I probably still have the configuration in the DIY software, and I should delete that. But if the game's gone, how do you open that up and manipulate it? Well, I could, but the other cool thing was that if I deleted the game and then opened it up later, the DIY didn't get rid of the profile. It actually had it there for the game still. So the game would be configured with what I'd set up in the DIY originally, even if I deleted the game later. Totally amazing. DIY was very, very cool. Allowed me to do some things in Android games that just were not built into it. Um, as far as being on the controller. So it was a button in game that was not represented on the Moqi. So all you do is you open the DIY software, and now you can represent that button in the Android game on screen. Very, very cool, and very cool piece of software. The next one I want to talk about was the D&D. So D&D is do not disturb. You literally slide down your Android menu from the top of your screen, and there is an icon for D&D. It's totally customizable. You can just click on it and it turns it on. No more interruptions. If you're playing a game and you don't want phone ring, text, alerts, anything, it will even shut down the music from the app you're using. I was trying to play a game and it shut off the music in the game. That's like the real like lockdown mode of do not disturb. But you can go in and tweak the settings and make it more customizable for what you want to be notified for. But so amazing to have the ability to shut down all of the phone things because it is an Android phone when you want to have your game time uninterrupted. So I didn't get my alerts for YouTube videos. I didn't get alarms. I didn't get phone calls. I didn't get anything in this time where I would turn on the D&D. Very cool, very useful feature. So easy to turn on. Most of this stuff is built into the drop-down menu on the top of the screen in the Android. So it's so easy to find, so easy to use. And if you just hold down on it, long press, you usually will bring up the settings for it where you can go in and tweak it and make it do exactly what you want. Very cool software. So the next one I want to talk about was Chromecast, and I mentioned this in another video as a limitation that people had mentioned, that there was no physical connection from the Moqi to the TV. That is true. However, it has built into the slide down menu of the Android again, one button access to turn on Cast. Chromecast basically is the ability to cast out what's on your device onto a compatible device, or I come to find, to a Chromecast unit, I call it. It's basically a small silver dollar sized dongle that hooks into the USB of your TV, and you can then wirelessly broadcast any Android device content to that little HDMI dongle. It does have a USB that uses for power out the back end of it, but the front end connects HDMI straight into your TV. So I use that with the Cast functionality on the Moqi, and boom, mirrors the entire Moqi straight to the TV. Now, I've used Chromecast on other devices that didn't have that functionality built into the slide down menu like the Moqi does, where I just hit Cast and it mirrors. Most of the time when I use other devices, other Android phones I've had, I have to go into the app, the YouTube or whatever, and then say from within there, cast in this program or this app, and then it casts out to the device. Seldom have I found anything that will allow me to just mirror the exact, like the whole desktop, everything that's on my phone directly onto the TV. That's what the Moqi does. Booyah. That is awesome. Basically, can use the Moqi as a wireless, desktop on a larger TV for anything you need. Productivity, your emails, your messages, anything. It is very, very cool feature. And of course, if you want to just broadcast out your Hulu, broadcast out your gaming, whatever. I did mention that in my testing, I got a little bit of latency using the 3rd gen Chromecast device with the Moqi i7s. Kind of unfortunate, but it's understandable. It's on the wireless, it's on the Wi-Fi, it's utilizing the Bluetooth. It's got a lot of wireless signals going on, so the latency was bad trying to play games there. But that might not be all games. It might be that other games play better. It might be that 2D games will play okay. Retro stuff may be fine. The only thing I tested it on was the modern Call of Duty mobile, and I played some PSP on there, and they all had a lot of latency when I was trying to cast out to the TV. Still awesome software, very cool functionality, and I'm so glad they built it in there because I can broadcast out onto a bigger TV if I want. Now the Mochi already comes with a huge 1080p 6-inch Gorilla Glass display, which is phenomenal, but I could put that on my TV if I want, or a larger display. It's just amazing. And the fact that I can mirror the entire thing and not just have to do it app to app, that is very cool as well. No matter what app I open while I'm on the Mochi, it's just broadcast straight to the TV. Very cool. Very cool feature. I have not found that in many other Android devices. I thought that was a very cool thing that they put into the Mochi software. Going on to my next point is the game store with free games. Now, it also comes with, you may have seen in other YouTube videos, there's something called Happy Chick, which is basically a Chinese website where you can download free games of various types, any type really. The legality is always, called into question when people reference these things, but whatever. There are Chinese stores that have clones and copies and knockoffs of all the games we play as gamers, and you can go on there and usually download them for free. It does come with such an app. It's not Happy Chick per se, but it's very similar store where you can go and download games for free. Similar like when I go to the Google Play App Store and I download games there for free. There are plenty of games on Android for free, and there are plenty of games in other avenues that are free as well if you just go check them out. Mochi comes with its own store where you can actually go in and download games for free, as well as go into the Google Play Store and download games there for free as well. So lot of, and not, of course, not all the games are for free on even on the one that's provided by the Mochi. There are paid versions of games as well, but it's cool to have a whole nother avenue of games that you can get access to totally free if you want to, or just even if whether you buy them, you're free or whatever, you have a lot more access between these two different stores, between the Play Store, Android, and this other one that's like, I don't know, it's some sort of Chinese game store of some sort rather. And so very cool to have that accessibility. I like it. There is a blog that they put on there with user content, and also the folks at Snail put content on there about how to use the phone. It's in English. It's a blog. It says, "Hey, little buddies," when you load it up on the first post. And it's basically saying, let us give you tips on how to use the phone, and click here to find other user comments and conversations about how to use the phone, and all kinds of good tips and stuff to share. So they got a very cool little blog on there. They also have a very cool reference manual for the software. So, in case it's kind of hard for you to figure out how to use some of this Mochi software, there's a very cool little tutorial that goes through a few different pages here and there that you slide through to tell you how to use all of the Keymapper, the do-it-yourself software, the this, the that, all the different software that's in the phone. So you can kind of fumble around like I did and figure stuff out on your own. But eventually I found this manual, reference manual. It kind of told me everything about how to use it. Much easier to figure out how to use this awesome software. So Mochi software has been developed for gamers, by gamers seemingly. It is a very, very great quality Android 8 phone within its own right, but then it's an amazing game unit as well. So I wanted to put something that's on the internet, on YouTube, that's not necessarily along the lines of what else you'll see. You'll obviously see a lot of videos where they show you the sleek pictures of the unit itself and the physicalness, and they may show you screenshots and things like that. But what I'm delivering is something that you won't get until you actually use the thing. All the videos that I did research on before I bought the Mochi was basically how good it looks, how sleek it is, the fact that it can play God of War and other stuff, like piece of cake. Wonderful. But there wasn't a lot of mention about the software in there. Nobody wants to talk much about the software, show it off. Maybe they didn't know a lot about it, or they were kind of worried about it because of copyright infringement and things like that. I don't know, but there's not a lot about the software in there. And though I don't have screenshots and videos, I will eventually most likely be coming about with some of that because the software is just so amazing and you really got to see it. But for now, I'm just going to tell you how it works, tell you the things that you won't find in any of the videos online if you're looking to pick up a Mochi. But if you're really into gaming on the go, you really want a good, strong Android phone, this is a great phone. One of the downsides I found to it, software wise was when I went to the Play Store, tried to download Hulu, which would have been great on that phone because I have Hulu. Works on other phones, even older phones that I have. Wouldn't load up on this. For some reason, the Play Store said it was non-compatible with this device that I had, and that's all the information it would give me. So I thought that was bizarre, considering my old phone that I was replacing, it was many years older, was able to run it just fine, and I could actually broadcast the Hulu there. So I would love to use the Hulu with the Mochi, but I'm sure any other software other than the Hulu probably works just fine. The Netflix and all that, and with a casting ability, um, amazing. The cast device that I got with my old phone casted out Hulu video flawlessly. It was perfect. There was no stutter, no hiccups, no nothing. It was in total high definition. It was great. So I'm sure that the Mochi will put out that sort of quality when it's connected to a working website such as a Netflix or whatever. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the folks that did the software. Snail, you did a really great job. Very premium product. Um, very heavy and weightful, but light at the same time. It's bizarre. It has a big screen and a big battery, but it's very thin and it's very rounded at the edges. So it fits comfortably in the hand, but it's still got some girth to it, which I like. So yeah, you can see a lot of videos about the hardware. I wanted to talk about the software. I'd like to show more about the software, which I may do in a later date. I don't want to get in trouble for infringement for showing that stuff either, though. But I want to talk about it because it's great software and it's really made the experience on the phone just amazing. I love it. It's very easy to communicate with people as a phone in the midst of playing games. And so I can easily just in between rounds flip to my communication, talk to people, flip right back to my games. And it's very easy to be mobile with all of the features that I've outlined here in their software. So if you're looking for a new Android phone, quite honestly, this is the only one I found on the planet that has built-in controls. Everybody wants to talk about Razer Kishi and these kind of things where you can just pop your square phone into a device that's Bluetooth and will connect to it and let you use controllers. But there's latencies there. Bluetooth is not always the fastest. I really prefer a phone that has like built-in controls. It makes it lightning quick. Um, Really, really phenomenal haptic feedback for on-screen controls. Basically, the ability to feel the controls right there on the unit. They're lightning quick, fast as I mean, all get out. It just really makes for a great gaming experience. So anyway, that's the software on the Mochi. Definitely check out the videos on the hardware and the specs there. Uh, Definitely, you'll love the software because it's great for gaming. So anyway, check it out. This time I want to say it right. It's the Mochi i7s, and the software on it's amazing. Check it out.